Well, tonight, the Ghana Tourism Authority has begun a clampdown on tourist facilities in the Greater Accra region that failed to pay the 1% tourism levy. The exercise is also to check the compliance with quality standards of facilities as the Christmas festivities draw closer. Ebenezer Sabute has more in this report.
The operations team closed down Country Kitchen, a popular eating joint in Osufor, owing more than 8,000 cedis. The other facilities, including Oak Plaza Hotel and MJ Grand Hotel, redeemed their debt to avoid closure. Here's Deputy Chief Executive of the Tourism Authority in charge of operations, Echo Samson.
You know, it's crucial if you want to develop tourism. But again, not only that, the law says that at the end of each month, you have to go and pay. It's just like the VAT. So every month you're supposed to pay. So it's not that we have to come after you before you. If they know what it is. They collect the money from the patrons, and at the end of every month, they just go and make payment. Yeah.
The team also inspected the quality of facilities to ensure that they were up to standard.
The reception, the restaurant, and then sometimes the pool area, the areas that are patronized by the public, you know, and then the private areas are the accommodation in those areas. So that's what we look at it. We want to be sure that they are meeting the minimum standard requirements, and then we want to be sure that they are well kept and it's well, maintained.
General Manager of MJ Grand Hotel, Ekufu Aye, expressed delight about the exercise and promised to comply with the quality standards set by the authority.
Actually has been issued already, and like I said, we actually reconciling our books with them, so we had to make sure it's done properly. So we were not in default. That's what I was saying. Not in default at all. And like I said, we work as a team here, and the hotel is about team building. So you need to get everybody's hands on deck. So, and we are looking at giving and offering the best. So that's what we do. We are making sure we offer the best to our guests and our customers amidst all the team members' contribution. Nobody is left out from. Yes.
The team expects to recoup more than half of their outstanding debt by close of the week. Ebenezer Sabute's report for Joy Business.
Well, joining me in studio is President of Vigano Hotels Association, Dr. Akanyamike Jr., to discuss this. Your reaction, sir, thanks for your time tonight. Your reaction to the operation by the Ghana Tourism Authority.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. The fact is that the Ghana Tourism Authority is mandated to license tourism facilities, including the hotels. And if you fall short of their expectations or requirements, they have every right to take the action that they need to take. So I wouldn't say we are aggrieved by any action, except that I would have loved to know the details of the reason for closing them, and that would have really informed me. But
Well, today was the first day of the exercise, and the reports we are receiving indicate that most of the people that the GTA went to today did not or had not paid their tourism levy. Does that worry you?
yes, it comes as a big surprise. It comes as a big surprise, especially if the facility is a member of the Ghana Hotels Association. We have always insisted and ensured that our members do not default on the 1% tourism levy. Because I'm sure you are aware that we have been championing the cause for the proper usage of that fund. So why would we default if we want the money to be used properly?
So is it the case that they didn't know about the levy, or it's just deliberate that they weren't paying?
Like I said, I cannot really comment on it into details because I don't know the circumstances that warranted that default. Like I said, we have been championing the cause for our members to pay the 1% tourism levy. We initiated the process. We came up with that idea of the development fund. Okay, so it's not the intention of any hotel, and more so a member of the Ghana Hotels Association, to default 1% tourism development payment. So
all right,
it comes as a big surprise.
And also today they've been checking the quality of standards at the various hotels and restaurants across the country. I didn't see so much in the report with regards to whether or not the facilities there were adhering to the current standards stipulated. But what's your impression so far about quality of standards, whether or not your members are meeting that?
To a large extent, members are meeting the standards. Of course, you always have a normal chaos when you are dealing with some of this. So you may have some hotels falling short of the requirements. But by and large, I believe that a lot of the hotels. Now, let's also put it in some perspective. See, some of the hotels, as we speak, are not even registered with the tourism authority. And I wish that the report could specify the status of the hotel they went to. One, whether they are registered with the tourism authority in the first place. Secondly, I also wish to know whether they are members even of the Ghana Hotels Association. And that brings me to a point where we have always maintained that I think we should get to the point where every hotel must be made to belong to an association.
Right.
Yeah, because you see, we play a lot of roles concerning the industry, and we assist the tourism authority itself in the performance of its duties. I don't think they will have to go around like they are doing now to clamp down on low standards or low services.
And I guess,
do that,
one more reason why it's important we talk about quality is because of the year of return, because we've made so much noise about it. I want to know whether or not you guys are cashing in on this whole year of return.
Well, you see, our members cut across various categories, from the budget to the 5-star hotels.
Right.
And I can say on authority that it's the 3 to 5-star hotels who are cashing in a lot on that. And it's for obvious reasons. I mean, the people we are seeing a lot in this country over the 1 year of return program, it's more of the celebrities, the top people, the big guys.
Yeah.
But all the 3 to 5 star are also members of the association, so we are happy for them. But we are hoping that this year, for me, has set the foundation for us to cash in on the year of return in subsequent years.
I'm going to ask you about your award ceremony in a bit because it's happening in January, but I want to ask you about the city because it's an important subject for conversation right now. We've heard small businesses complain about the impact of the depreciation over the years on the operations. How is it affecting the hospitality industry?
Well, you know, unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because it affects the economy of the country, the hotels support the need for their work. And for good reasons, because some of the suppliers we have here are not reliable, cost considerations also a factor, and even the quality of the items is also a factor. Okay, when imported, when you have to import, then the exchange rate comes in, and that's where it bites a lot.
Okay, so in January you're going to hold an award ceremony. I'm sure preparations are underway. So just bring us up to speed on what you'll be focusing on in January when you hold the awards ceremony.
Right, so it's going to be the 4th GHA Awards, and the theme is reducing hotel rates in Ghana, the role of government and the hotel operators. We are giving out 19 awards to the hotels, and then we have 4 special awards to the lifetime achievements, significant contribution. So with the awards for the hotels, we are looking at front of house team of the year, housekeeping team of the year, conference and banquet team of the year, green hotel of the year, most secured hotel of the year, and so on. And it's for the 2 and 3 star category, 4 and 5 star. And of course, we have the budget hotel of the year, 1 star hotel of the year. So 18th January at the Accra Marriott Hotel, 6 p.m. I hope to see you.
For the award ceremony, the hotel rates, and how we can bring that down, because sometimes they are very expensive. Dr. Edward, Edward Akanyamike Jr., President of Ghana Hotels Association. Thanks for your time tonight. Really appreciate it. You know, we're talking about dealers and banks are pushing for an increase in dollar support from the Bank of Ghana to hold the cedi's continuous depreciation. The local currency since the beginning of this year has depreciated against the US dollar by 13.30% and now selling at around 5 cedi 69 pesos. But how the Bank of Ghana respond to this call? George Affe has more.
Depreciation against the dollar might have gotten a little bit out of hand over the past 2 weeks. This is due to a pickup in demand for dollar cash by businesses that are preparing to restock a little bit early for next year, and even some investors that are redeeming their funds in our bonds because of what some analysts are describing as challenges with our fiscals let's say, fears that government might not be prudent with its expenditure going into an election year, and concerns that our fiscal targets are too ambitious. On the spot market, some commercial banks were offering as much as 5 Ghana cedis 69 pesos and 5 Ghana cedis 73 pesos for a dollar. The Bank of Ghana itself on Wednesday last week sold about $10 million at a rate range of 5 Ghana cedis 62 pesos and 5 Ghana cedis 65 pesos. The Bank of Ghana has been on the market in terms of dollar supply, but for some commercial banks, has not been increased to meet market demand. Some of them have told Joy Business that if the supply doesn't pick up, then the situation could worsen in the coming weeks. But officials of the Bank of Ghana have also told Joy Business that the worst is expected to happen in the first quarter of next year. That is why they are building up their reserves now to be able to accommodate the pressure during that time when a lot of companies are demanding more dollars to finance their imports to restock. The development has seen the Bank of Ghana slow down on its market support. The central bank's international reserves in October this year was around $8 billion and is expected to be going up before the end of this year. For some analysts, there's a likelihood that the central bank may not increase the dollar support and things could be bad for us going forward. But for some market players, they've argued that this dollar support by Bank of Ghana or any market intervention should be seen as a short-termish approach. But in the medium term, we should look at exporting more to improve upon our dollar earnings and cut down on important stuffs that can be manufactured or produced locally. And the possibility of government also being disciplined with its expenditure, and that could deal with the cycle that we see in the last quarter of the year and the first quarter of the next year.
So we've got some business operators commenting on the impact of the current development on their businesses, especially with the festive season getting closer. Just take a look at what some of them told us.
Do a lot of imports. Your jewelries, your watches that I see in the shelves, almost all of them, I must say, come from outside. How is the dollar to cedi ratio for you? We know it has been unstable these few days.
Yeah, for these few days, the dollar rate has changed. It was 5.6, but as I'm talking to you now, it's 5.8. So we can't plan anything now, maybe unless it stabilizes. Otherwise, it's not good. It's not good. The rate is not good for business.
Do you think the managers of the economy are doing enough to actually absorb these shocks, which in effect triggers down to you, the business owners?
Definitely, they will tell us they are doing their best. But I think their best is not enough. There must be some other mechanisms to stabilize it. If you can't stabilize it now, when again do you want to stabilize it? Once it goes up, it's difficult. It can't come down. So I think something must have to be done to it, because the economy now in Ghana stands on the rate of the dollar.
What are you expecting 2020 to be like for you?
Oh, in 2020, what I'm expecting is that the dollar rate will be stabilized. That will help every business. If it doesn't stabilize, then everything goes bad. It affects the duties we pay, because we calculate the duty with the dollar. We use the dollar to calculate the duty, and everything is affected. If the price of dollar goes up, everything in Ghana goes up. So I think in 2020, the managers of the economy have to look at the exchange rate very well.
The things you have are not produced in Ghana, you import them. They rely heavily on the dollar and to see the quotations. How is that affecting your business?
It's really affecting us very badly, because this you need to just change. And when you are looking at the dollar impact, you need to just, when there is a slight dip in the inflation right now, you need to change more cedis to just get the dollar. And that is affecting us very well. I expect a stable cedi to the dollar ratio. I expect we're very stable. But that one will just be okay with us. If everything is stable, that is what we need. This cedi and dollar ratio, the way it's affecting businesses, it gets to a time you can't even have to push it to the consumer, the final consumer, but you need to just absorb it. So in my own candid opinion, I think the government must just do well to stabilize the cedi, and I think everything will fall in place.
Something maybe 6 months time and come and expecting that you get the same price.
I guess the question on everyone's mind is why we are seeing the cedi depreciate. Well, a Joy business analyst, Philip Namfuri, earlier on the marketplace, explained some reasons that could have led to the over 13% depreciation of the cedi.
Selling those things.
Year on year, I was reading a story from Bloomberg, and it says since 1994, that's over a 25-year period to 2019, our cedi has depreciated every single year. And it all goes back down to the demand and supply issues. We are an economy that's important, and we're not exporting a lot that will bring in the necessary dollar foreign exchange we need or foreign currency we need to support the imports that we have. So anytime there's a sudden demand on foreign currency for imports whatsoever, then we have a dip in the currency because you have less foreign currency vis-a-vis the Ghana cedi. So we are learning that we've depreciated about 13% year on year, and some are saying that compared to the last year's depreciation, it's quite huge. And the reasons being adduced are a lot, but the primary reason in there is the demand and supply issues. And if you look at the graph we have displayed, it is from Bloomberg's website. Over a 5-year period, you see how the cedi has depreciated, starting at 3.5 Ghana cedis to $1, moving up all the way over the 5-year period. So in 2016, we had 4 Ghana cedis. 2017, 4 Ghana cedis, 50 pesos. 2018, we have 5. 2019, now we have the 5.74 that was up to the right here. So you see that, yes, over a course of time, it's been very, very funny, if I can say so. And it all goes back down to what we've been discussing since I was in GSS. Okay. How do we get more into our economy from our exports? How do we add value to our exports to increase foreign currency supplies that we get? Because we'll continue to export, but we need to ramp up what we are taking out to bring in foreign currency. Simple as that. Bank of Ghana's role as the controller of currency supplies, that's the Ghana cedi, but they have a role to play because of that.
Philip Namfuri with some analysis there. Straight to oil and gas, some important story coming from there. The group chief executive of Tullow Oil, Paul McDade, has stepped down from the company with immediate effect. This was disclosed in a conference call with investors today. The company's exploration director, Angus McCoss, is also stepping down. George Rafi has more.
According to details of the conference call provided by the company, the group chief executive, Paul McDade, and the exploration director, Angus McCoss, are resigning from the board of the company. It is by this move that is leading to the 2 directors losing their current executive positions with the oil exploration firm. Details of the conference call further noted that the resignation was done by mutual consent. The company has in the interim appointed board chair Dorothy Thompson as executive chair and would have some executive roles for the meantime. The executive vice president for East Africa and non-operated, Mark McFarlane, has also been appointed as the chief operating officer in a non-board role. Les Wood will continue as executive director and chief financial officer for the company. The board has also initiated the process to find a new group chief executive for the company. It is not clear for now the reason for the resignation for these 2 top directors. But commenting on the company's performance, Madam Dorothy Thompson added that the board is disappointed with the performance of Tullow's business and needs more time to review its operations. The announcement has already hit a share price on the stock market, going down by more than 50%. It traded earlier today at £57.97. Meanwhile, the company has also revised downwards its oil production target for next year. According to Tullow, it is hoping to get between 70,000 to 80,000 barrels of crude oil from next year.
You're watching Business Live. We are taking a short break. We're back with some more news. All right, so there's plenty more news we are covering for you on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. That story about British Airlines named Airline of the Year, the Global Airlines Awards. You want to read more on that, plus the resignation of Tullow Oil Group CEO Paul McDade, all on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Darrell Kwao. Thanks for watching. We'll be back same time tomorrow.